We we have a lot to discuss today. We're still going to be talking about the Eagles sneaking around. Howie Roseman is still on the move for a veteran player, and all these NFL outlets are still talking about it. And we're going to be talking about the home opener this year. And with the schedule coming out Wednesday, we have our first rumor of who the Eagles will face week one, and it might be in the division. And we're going to be talking about wide receiver three because I want to talk about who I really want to pan out and do well as a depth piece that potentially could turn into your next future wide receiver three going forward. So, a lot to discuss here. So, let's get straight into it all.
A killer buried, but not dead.
Darren, we better turn around. Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
Yo, what is going on, guys? I hope it's having a fantastic day today. We have a lot to look forward to this month. We have the schedule coming out soon. We have OTAs at the end of the month. And then, things are going to start to, they're going to speed up real quick. This offseason is going to be gone before you know it. And we'll be sitting watching football yet again for the 2025 season. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is Justin Simmons, okay? Because a lot of NFL news outlets are saying that Howie Roseman is still sneaking around trying to make a move for this guy, okay? Obviously, this is a free agent, so you could just sign him, okay? Justin Simmons has expressed interest the last few months, like, this is the team. This is where he wants to be. He's 31 years old in his career. The Atlanta Falcons, 60-something tackles, 7 pass deflections, 2 picks, and Justin Simmons has expressed that the scheme really didn't fit him with Atlanta last year, but obviously a lot of familiarity because he's with Vic Fangio and he's had his best years under Vic Fangio as the head coach to Denver. He's got really good relationship with Christian Parker. He's a leader. I mean, like I said, he's a lot of good things. The thing is, I didn't want to just sign him and go back to sign these 30-year-old veterans that used to be kind of good, but maybe will be good in more of a role-playing scheme, I guess. I was kind of done with that. After the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson trade, and we were kind of confused on what they were doing, and they tried to sign Justin Reed, and that didn't happen for less money, so they couldn't even get him until he signed with the Saints. And now, you drafted Andrew MAKUBA. Okay. And that really made me feel a lot better of the direction that they were going in. Okay. I did not want to sign a bridge safety before the draft and just have, all right, we're done with safety and just call it a day. No, I didn't want to rent a 31-year-old player, and just because he has connections with some of our coaches, I didn't want to bring him here just for that reason. Okay. But going to this draft, drafting Andrew MAKUBA and wondering now, and I feel like I'm more on board with the Justin Simmons sign that maybe I wasn't before because they have the future at safety. Obviously, Reed Blankenship's a free agent after this year, and your depth isn't really that great right now. Like, McCollum is not good. Sidney Brown needs reps badly. I mean, badly. And he's coming off of, he hasn't really been the most healthy player since he's been drafted either. So he's already had an ACL. He's already had a couple concussions. He's already dealt with small little injuries. He's already missed some time in the past. So you want to be careful in this situation, but adding Justin Simmons, I think, would complete this room, to be honest with you, and make things a lot better. But keeping Justin Simmons in the building could hinder your production from Andrew MAKUBA, and I hope that's not the case. So it's very hard for me. I'm almost like I'm splitting through the middle here on really what to do in this situation. How do they look at Andrew MAKUBA right now? Okay, especially for like an average to maybe undersized safety that plays a lot bigger than what he is, and will add another 10 pounds in the future. And they didn't want a big safety. They wanted a coverage safety. They wanted a versatile safety that was a little bit better than CJ. They got CJ's attitude in another body that is a lot lighter on his feet, and he's a big hitter, and he's just a better coverage guy, a better player, probably what Vic Fangio is needing in his defense. Just remember, Vic Fangio wasn't here when Chauncey was traded. Chauncey was not Vic Fangio's type of guy, not his type of player. Sorry. So Fangio finally gets his own type of safety in this room that he wanted him, and they finally get him now. So NFL outlets have been it's been nonstop about Justin Simmons to the Philadelphia Eagles, and I wonder if I wonder if some of the conversations that has already happened already with him and the Eagles. And just remember, like, the Eagles like to make those last minute trades or free agent signings. Last year, Jahan Dotson, right before the season started. Okay. Chauncey Gardner Johnson trade with the Saints right before the season started. So the Eagles like to make moves like this. And obviously, this is not a trade. This is a free agent signing. So this is so much easier. Um, you know what I mean? So I don't know which direction they're going. So are the Eagles looking at Andrew McCubbin and saying, "Oh yeah, he's a day one starter"? I mean, yeah, your second round pick should be on the field. Like, no veteran should really be taking his place. Like, I think you throw this guy in camp. I think you see what's going on, and if Fangio feels like he's really not cutting it, then you go out and sign Justin Simmons. I'm not saying that Andrew McCubbin is going to fail in the offseason program and training camp or anything like that, but I think that's the way you got to go with the situation you have now. Because if some other team signs Justin Simmons and MAKUBA's not having a good offseason or he gets hurt, and if Sidney Brown doesn't look good and McCollum doesn't look good and Blankenship's really our only remaining guy that's going to play well, there's going to be a problem here going forward. So the Justin Simmons situation, it is ongoing. It is still going on, and I'm still on the fence about it. But I think this is more of a wait and see approach with Justin Simmons, depending on how Andrew McCubbin plays out in the offseason. And yes, it's not real games. I get it. But Fangio knows if they're ready or not. Fangio will know. All he's got to do is look at what he's been doing to a course of a few weeks and a couple preseason games, and they might make the late move with Justin Simmons, or they might just keep everything how it is. If Justin Simmons was coming in here as a depth piece for the Eagles, then I would be all on board for it. No issue with it. But if he's coming in because he wants to start, that's going to be a problem. And a lot of these older free agents before the draft, they like to wait after the draft, wait till some of these, end throughout training camp, kind of waiting to see if any injuries develop with teams that they can just get signed, go right in there, learn the defense, and start for the first game. So I think that's what these free agents like to do. They like to just wait a little bit and see when they can really make their mark to take over at a position when, they're needed, So that's how these guys get paid at a later, at a, higher age. So that's where I'm kind of at with the situation. I think the Eagles are going to be very patient with it, see what MAKUBA does. And if not, then I think this signing is realistic unless he wants to be a backup. So we'll see how this goes with Justin Simmons. Now, we're going to be talking about the wide receiver position, especially wide receiver 3, because we know that the Eagles didn't pick up Jahan Dotson's fifth-year option, okay, which we already knew that was going to happen, guys. We already knew. I think it was like $16 million or something for the option. So that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money for a wide receiver, and the Eagles already have 2 of them paid right now, okay? So Jahan Dotson will be playing for himself, and that's great for him because any ball that's thrown his way, he better make the most of it, and trust me, he will have an extra edge to him this year. There's no doubt about it. The depth at wide receiver is still one of the most intriguing positions going into training camp because I honestly don't know what you have here. If Devontae Smith or A.J. Brown gets hurt, knock on wood, if anything happens like that, you can always move Jahan Dotson to the outside. We value Jahan Dotson so much because he is still very well respected in the league, and defenses have to respect his speed. He's still a first-round talent, okay? Dan Quinn just didn't like him. I mean, I could probably just say that was the case with that. He did a fantastic job for the Eagles. Not a lot of opportunities. When those opportunities came, he took advantage of it. So he becomes a free agent after this year. The Eagles have to start looking for that future wide receiver 3, so maybe they won't have to really draft one next year. And yeah, you don't have to draft a wide receiver 3 high in the draft. You look for those guys between the 4th and 6th rounds. Like, you could find somebody out there if you really want. So you're looking at what's going on. I mean, you have Johnny Wilson that's very raw right now, but let me tell you, like, if they, 6'7", almost 6'7", big frame. I mean, if he can get his drops fixed, his catches fixed, and not committing OPIs, and, if he just gets a little bit better with another offseason under his belt, man, I think he could be a pretty good player in Philadelphia, but obviously not a wide receiver 3 because I don't think he's got, you could put him on the inside if you want, but you need some speed there. Terrace Marshall, they signed him, veteran player, I think a former first round pick that just never worked out. So he really hasn't turned into anything. The tryout player, Giles Jackson, is coming in. So I'm actually pretty excited for him. He had a tryout for the Eagles and he got signed to training camp, which is great for the rest of the offseason program. So we'll see what he's going to bring to the table. But the guy I'm really rooting for is Anais Smith. What was he, a fifth round pick out of Texas A&M? I mean, perfect size, 5'9", 188, 190 something pounds, perfect size. I used to call him the speed demon, could catch in traffic, plays with toughness, but I don't know what happened to him last year, but he showed up to training camp and he just looked god awful. His punt returns were sloppy, his vision was sloppy, he fumbled the ball out of bounds in the preseason game. Couldn't get open. I mean, then he ended up getting hurt in the offseason program, especially as a rookie. If you get hurt in the offseason program, you're already behind. And especially if you're not a first or second round pick, you're going to be really behind and you're going to have to fight back up that depth chart all over again from all the work that you put in. And you got to hit the restart button again. Anais Smith just needs some type of push. Before they signed Jahan Dotson late last year, I mean, realistically, I thought Anais Smith was going to take that wide receiver 3 job. Paris Campbell looked like he was leading the pack at wide receiver 3. Jahan Dotson comes to the Philadelphia Eagles, and pretty much that was it. You know what I mean? So there's, I don't know if they're going to find it in this group. So I'm not really sure if they will find it in this group. I don't think you're going to get it from an undrafted free agent. It'd be nice if they found somebody that not only, and like I said, these guys will not get playing time this year, but when Dotson is gone, Nick and Patullo, they'll figure out who's really making a big, and we'll notice too. We'll notice who deserves that chance, and we'll see what goes on. But Anais Smith, this is probably the top guy I'm really rooting for, especially at the receiver position, because depth is not great. You can always move A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith to the inside, and because of having Jahan Dotson here, like I said, big value because you can move those receivers all over the place and create those really big mismatches. But if Devontae Smith or A.J. Brown, if you just need somebody else for this 25 season, who's going to take a spot here and try to get something done? So I think you got to try to find somebody for next year. It might not be within this group. I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens, but I'm not really liking a lot of the guys here. I mean, we have to give it some time, but I mean, Johnny Wilson and Anais Smith are the two guys that really want to make a big push. That Giles Jackson, that tryout wide receiver, would be nice if he can become like a situational wide receiver in Philadelphia because he's got all that speed. They could line him up in the backfield. They could line him up anywhere for end around, screen passes, jet sweeps. I mean, they could do whatever they want with that kid. So I think he's going to be pretty exciting, but you need a wide receiver 3 that can catch, has a little bit of weight to him, not too much, but obviously can handle a hit if you need him to, can really do well in open space with the ball in his hands. And, I've seen a lot of that great stuff from Anais Smith, especially from his tape at Texas A&M. They really want him to just be better. You know what I mean? So, wide receiver should be the last thing we're talking about, but I think it's important because, guys get hurt. I mean, Devontae Smith was dealing with a hamstring last year, a back injury last year, multiple weeks. Devontae Smith before this year never missed a football game. I don't think he ever missed a game before this year. These guys get injuries, and if these guys need the rest, the Eagles will force them to play if needed be, and if they need to be out for a week, someone else has to step up to the plate. Which receiver here is really going to step up to the plate and do their thing? So I think that's cool, and that's why you have training camp. That's why you have the preseason games. And Anais Smith, the number one thing he needs to do is stay healthy, especially as a young player that has you're not guaranteed a spot on this team. Okay. So we'll see what happens. You guys let me know what you guys think about that whole entire position in general and the depth, and is the future wide receiver 3 with this team on that depth chart as of right now for the depth that we have. But other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. So we talked about, obviously, Anais Smith, the wide receiver group, future wide receiver 3. We talked about Justin Simmons. Realistically, guys, is this going to be a good thing or a bad thing? Or is this a wait-and-see approach with MAKUBA and what he's going to do in the offseason program? And we need to talk about the last thing, which is going to be The big rumor right now. So rumors are going to really start to boil over a little bit until Wednesday when the entire schedule will be out. So slowly this week we will find out what's going on. Are we playing on Christmas? Are we playing on Thanksgiving? Are we playing on Christmas Eve? And I really hope we're not. Just my preference. But for the Eagles home opener, which is the Thursday night game, Super Bowl champions play the first game on Thursday night. The banner is going to drop at the link in Philadelphia. Can't wait to see that. And rumored to be that the Philadelphia Eagles will be facing the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, why aren't we facing the Lions or KC or the Commanders? Or, I mean, look, Dallas has value as a team when it comes to their marketing in the offseason. They are the hype up offseason marketeers. And that team is always on the map, especially with George Pickens there now. So now there's a little bit more hype. Probably, maybe if this matchup is official, there'll be more hype towards it, I guess. I don't know. Doesn't matter to me, but the NFL needs to start off the week with good viewership. And are the Cowboys the right team to give that Thursday night game against the Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles in 2024 much viewership there? So I mean, obviously Dallas is a big market team. So things are always stirred up, and they're always hyped up every offseason. And, we'll see what happens. But I honestly don't care who we face. But I thought it was going to be somebody else. Maybe Chicago, maybe Detroit, maybe KC. At least if it was any within the division, it'd be Washington at some point. I don't know. But, these are the rumors that are starting to slowly come out. Don't know if this is fully true, but this is what's rumored right now. And most of the time when these rumors come out, a lot of them are kind of true. So we'll kind of hold to this and see what happens. But let me know what you guys think about the Eagles schedule, or at least the first game, and who do you guys think we're facing? And do you have any issue facing the Cowboys the first week? Other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. Make sure you subscribe for the channel for more news, Eagles news every single day. And make sure you like the video because it helps out tremendously, like crazy. I'm going to go back to sleep, and I will see you guys on the next one. Shakes what up, follow us. Peace out, guys. Peace.